Hello, everyone. It's Mimi from Be Heard, Empower Yourself, and my co-host, Erin Celise. And tonight we're going to do the I in action. She talked about that when she was talking about what you have to do for your soul and improving your life and everything. She is a life coach. And so she's going to open the meeting. Okay, Erin, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so glad to be here again, Mimi. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we are going into the actions. We should probably go over what those steps are just really quickly, just to make sure everybody's caught up.
I agree.
But so let's start with that. So actions. Actions is my framework for coming into your own alignment. And it's something that I think about, and my clients use. I have a whole app that I built that is around this and around leading people through it. So if we think of the actions, and the reason it's the action steps is because that is the way that you actually make changes. So we have talked about Akashic records, talked about changing in your intentions, talking about changing your thoughts, but you really don't change anything until you change your actions, which are the choices you make in the way you move through the world. So
Yeah.
even if you have the best intentions,
Yeah.
you can say, I am going to start, or I have the intention of being healthy and
Yeah.
having good thoughts. Okay, great. Then you can start having those good thoughts. But if you don't really put those into action in your life, you might think like, yes, I'm going to be nice to myself. But if you don't actually do things that are nice to yourself, you haven't really made a difference.
And
And
you very, what a great idea. Use the word action as an acronym.
yep,
And that's why we're going to do, I'm up to I. So we did show on A, C, and T. So
yep,
tonight we're going to do I. So explain a whole thing though, the ones that don't know what ACT is.
yeah.
Let's start. Yeah.
So we start with awareness. It is your awareness and really your awakening, because you have to become aware of what the things that you are working on, or what it is that's out of alignment. And then you go to C, which is challenge. And that is where you start challenging your old way of thinking. And that can be a pretty sticky one. So now that you're aware of it, what are you going to do differently? I also call that the clearing, because in the work, that's where I do the clearing for the Akashic record. So we get that cleared out.
Yes.
I do my part of clearing it, but then you have
She
to
did
really
that for
challenge your
me.
thoughts.
And she
Hmm?
did that for me, and then I did my part, and it was a very freeing. Felt great. Go ahead.
And then we get to T, which is the transformation. So that is where, okay, you've challenged the thoughts. You are starting to do something different.
Mhm.
And you can stay in the transform part for quite some time, where you're consciously doing things differently. So now you've challenged the thoughts, you understand what it is you need to do differently, or I should say, challenge the choices and the way that you've been,
Mhm.
making choices. But now once you transform those, you get to I, which is integration.
That's where I am. Hmm.
Yeah. So this is like, if you want to think of it sort of as, the hill that you're going up. So you start and you got your awareness, and then you build up to your challenges, and then your transformation. I sort of think as integration is like, okay, now we're kind of getting to the part where we're going to actually settle. And towards the end, N is the nurture, and that's really like the maintenance phase at that
Oh, did
point,
you
the
forget?
nurture
Oh,
and the surrender.
you
So
forgot. Oh, I think.
the big parts at the beginning where you got a lot of work to do, and then once you get into integration, this is like you're starting to make it more part of a natural part of your life, and
Right.
you can just kind of feel that calmness more.
Mhm.
um I will say though that this is a cycle. Like, you can cycle through these depending on the choices and things that come up, and they kind of, I mean, it's something that comes up all the time. Like, you're going to suddenly be aware of a new something. Oh, wow, that's a new pattern. I didn't really realize I was doing that before, but I am. And then you go through it. So once you get to the integration part, um it's a pivoting point where now you're living what you learned. And
Mhm.
that's why you can kind of think of it, okay, I got all the way to the top, that was the hardest part. I hiked up there, I got there, and now you're starting to come back down the
Mhm.
other side. So it's a little bit easier sailing, but eventually you'll get to your kind of new norm, if you want to call it that, your new normal, your new homeostasis, which is going to be better than where you started before the actions.
So what's O? I think you left O out.
I did because I kind of went beginning to the very end. O is optimization. So
Okay, that's all you
once
have
you,
to say.
yep.
We're going to stick with I now. I will tell everyone my transformation, although not complete, was magnificent. I was able to cut two toxic people out of my life. And I have a friend that she's a little wacky and she like changes her mind all the time and everything. And I'm able to tell her, all right, stop. You just came up with 10 restaurants to go to. I'm going to pick one and we're going to go, and then we had a good time. And then with my husband, he's in rehab right now. Um, I have him in a program and I'm doing whatever they tell me to do. Now, with all that going on, the self-care, that's always where I fell through the cracks. So I come home and I make sure that I have appointments. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to get a facial, even though he's in rehab. It's like, okay, I'll go see him and then go get a facial. I'll go see him and go get my nails or whatever. This is really a big change for me because before I would let the nails go and the hair go and not cancel the, facial. So yes, I think I not completed, but I think I did T pretty well.
That's amazing. And just being able to get to that point where you're saying, okay, I don't have to sacrifice these things to
Yeah,
still show I care.
exactly.
Because I think sometimes we get into that loop where it's kind of the guilt. Like I can't feel good. I can't feel good myself because somebody else is in pain.
Yeah,
And you can, and it's okay. But it's that challenge of, do I get to smile and laugh when I see somebody else that can't? And
exactly.
you can, but you can also have that sympathy and empathy for them and
Hmm.
understand where they're at. But um, I don't think we serve ourselves or the world really when we don't remember our own joy.
Exactly. I this little wacky friend of mine, she called me like in the morning. She said, "Do you want to go out to dinner?" And I said, "Yes." Even though he's in the rehab and everything's I said yes. And I normally would not have. And then after we did go to dinner, like I felt good. I had a good time, you know. And I didn't just talk to her. I had a great waiter. I had fun with him, you know. So I was teased him and everything. But I told him all about the podcast and all that. And he was so excited. Sometimes I get so excited. It's like, and I give him a card and go, I'm gonna watch this tonight. So I went home feeling good. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this podcast. So I was meeting with somebody new, didn't know anything about Akashic Records, any of this stuff. She goes, I just need a baseline. And so I sent her and she watched the first episode and came back and she's like, I'm scheduling every week with you. Well, we're doing every other week, but
I love it because that's what
yep.
I wanted
She's
for
like,
you.
I get it now. I get it. And
Yeah,
so
that's what
like,
I wanted for you. And me, I am getting PR people sending me requests for clients. I don't have to look for speakers anymore because they're coming like I'm booked way into November and I'm being choosy, because I'm telling their agent. I just said, look, they have to have a backstory and it has to be about overcoming an obstacle because that's what my show is about. So, yes, it's working, Erin. We are
it's
both
wonderful.
rising. So, we're in,
Mhm.
okay. So, what should I be doing now?
Well, the big part in this is really making the soul aligned choices. So remembering your soul story, um, your gifts, what keeps you in alignment, your positive polarities, and what is out of alignment. And working towards making sure that you're doing things that are towards your positive.
Yeah.
So your insight into what you do and how you do it is no longer theory, where it was kind of theory when you're looking at it as awareness. Okay, yeah, I learned these things about myself. I know my soul, my soul story and my blueprint and my blockers and my restrictions, but now you're living it. You go, okay, now
Yeah.
I know where those patterns show up,
Yeah.
and I'm consciously learning from that and doing something different.
Yeah. I'm meditating more.
Oh,
I'm
that's wonderful.
meditating
Yeah.
more because what's happening is if I feel anxiety, I go to the app. They have the heading right there,
Mhm.
anxiety. And I pick one of them and I listen to that. And it calms me right down. If I'm angry, I look for meditation that'll get me, out of that. So I might meditate a couple times a day instead of just once a day, and I go to sleep to a meditation that's full of affirmations and things like that. So that's a big change in my self-work, and self-care. Yeah,
So yeah, that is absolutely the integration step, because you're not necessarily, well, you are doing something new, but it's not just doing the new, it's being the new.
yes, yes, yes.
So you're taking those and really making it patterns for you to live by.
Yeah, and I'm recognizing what my basic instincts are and my gut reactions to things, and I'm pausing and thinking about how I could do it differently,
Mm.
you know. So that's a big change. I could see it. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I showed you the yellow flowers that I got for Janira.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you something very strange. All the stuff is going on in my life. It's all hectic and crazy and everything. And I'm talking to my spirit guides, not all of them, usually Sarah and Janira. Okay. I feel like they have the most effect on my life. So I'm in the kitchen and I'm cleaning, and it was a very bad weekend. And in the dish drainer, is a dried flower. Okay. I have not had flowers in my kitchen for a year. I'm a cleaning woman and I clean and we clean that sink. And I went, uh-huh. I knew they sent that. It just appeared right in the drainer. It's crazy, but I know. I'm like, hey, you clean this kitchen every day and you never saw that flower. Where did it come from? You know? So
Yep.
yes, now I'm thinking about what it's supposed to mean. And I don't want to put too much emphasis on that, but I just wonder why well, I don't know why it was a dried out flower, not fresh flower, but yeah,
Yeah.
sign. I'm
Yeah.
recognizing signs and not just saying, oh, where did that come from and throw it in the garbage. I went, this means
Yeah.
something to
I
me.
mean, it could just be it doesn't even necessarily mean that dried versus fresh is the meaning, but maybe it's just like, hey, um, remember something beautiful, just like remember,
Or
just
it
a
could be
reminder.
life is short, like a flower's life is not that long. So I don't know, but it definitely made an impression on me and just made my confirmation that I do have spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
I have spirit guides because this kind of stuff is happening. And you know that. I had the video, they can look it up, of I have cameras in the house because my husband falls. And the one, I never look at the night video, but I decided to look at it. And there were these white, perfectly round lights going around the bedroom. And then at the end, there was one perfect, and it came right at the camera really fast. And that's my spirit guides. I don't know if they were watching over me or they just wanted to check in. And then the next night, they were not there.
Mm.
So my brother's like, well, it could be car lights. I said, not in my bedroom. I said, my bedroom has one window and it's a lake. There's no road there. I have no mirrors. There's no way. Like people don't want to believe that, they don't want to believe something that's like paranormal. But other people said, "Oh my God, oh my God." And my grandson texted me, said, "Nana, that's definitely a ghost."
Yeah, they were active.
You saw it. I said to you,
There's a lot going on that night.
they were all over the room. Yeah. I think all five of them were there. And I don't know which one was the strong one that left, but I think it was Janira. I really do. I think she's the boss. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she also knows that you listen to her and
Hmm.
you seek her. So she stepped up as that voice.
Yes, I appreciated that, you know. Yeah, so I don't know if they'll come again, but I got that on camera and I put it on social media and stuff, and people are really uh, going, "Wow, it does look like something unusual is going on there, right?" So what else can we do with the eye? I think I'm
Well,
working pretty good.
yeah, I mean, this is where um you've already uncovered your steps and you're living in them. It can also kind of be a test though,
Mm.
that are you going to continue carrying this frequency into your relationships and your life and your choices, or are you going to, go back?
Yeah,
You
the
kind of fall back on the
consistency.
things that are familiar because
It's just, yeah, 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 yeah. I get that because I'm in counseling too. And I was telling her, I said, "Oh, the granddaughter asked for $10 like three times." And I said, "No, every time, you know. And she actually asked me to help her buy a car. And I said, "No." And my counselor said, just like what you said. She said, "That's good that you're doing that. That's good. But you might come to a point where you have a weak moment and you give her the $10. And it's not about the $10. It's about, codependency. And she needs to grow up. And she's 25, and she's a baby." So she said, "Yeah, you have to make sure you don't like lose your ground where you are. Stand in your ground, stand in your
mhm,
truth. You know why you're not giving her the money. It's not because I don't love her. It's not because I don't want her to have that money. It's because she needs a lesson in life that you have to take care of yourself. You know, you can't have people getting you gas every week." So, yeah, but she said, "Be careful because you think you got it, but then something could happen and you have a weak moment. So you have to be vigilant." So I think that's what you're saying, right?
sort of. I'm gonna push back on that a little bit from my
Okay,
framework.
good.
Um, we don't necessarily at this age, well, with an adult, you're not really teaching her a lesson. It's you. So your energy is yours. Your
Yes.
choices are going to ripple out and affect other people, but really the frame I'm going to come from is that this isn't about teaching her a lesson or you being weak or whatever. It's about you and your energy and staying in that. So instead of teaching her a lesson, you're actually teaching yourself the lesson.
Yeah, which is to say no, that I don't always have to agree to something, you know.
Yes, you don't. And also that you get to, stand in that and be firm and be okay. Like,
Mhm.
um, the feeling I get right now that comes up is like there's still a little bit of guilt that comes in, kind of, the
Yeah,
no isn't
yeah.
the no isn't backed with this is my decision, and this is where I stand. There's that little bit, and maybe that's what, a therapist would call weakness, where there's that little hint of, well, I could,
Mhm. But
but
I'm doing it because I was told to do it. I mean, it's like a homework thing.
mhm,
And I'm working on and rolling it over and pursuing it deeper and realizing that it is about me and it is about me being trying to do everything for everybody and I can't do it anymore and I have to take care of myself. So
yeah,
I say no is a new thing for me.
yeah.
Mhm.
And the test is not a test to her, it's the test to
Yes,
you.
I get that.
And of course you don't want to feel mean about it, but
No.
when you're standing in your ground and it's feeling better to say no than say yes, because it
Mm.
sounds like too that saying yes isn't going to feel good.
No.
It's not going to serve either of you at that point.
And
So,
no is a complete sentence. I just say no. I don't give her a reason or anything. I just say no in the text. And she doesn't text me back, and that's it.
mhm.
So the next time. But that's all right. I'm not the only one she does it to, and I know that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, it's part of my character's journey in my book is that learning that when you change your frequency, not everybody comes along.
that's true. Yeah,
And
because she sees it as me punishing her or being mean or whatever. So, and liking, the other grandchildren more or something like that, because I notice every time I do something for one of the other grandchildren, I hear from her like
mhm.
she wants something. And I go, no, because I gave her a lot. She's really got a lot out of it. So I got other grandkids I got to help out, you know. But yeah, I'm getting it. I'm feeling less guilty when I say no. And that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah, it has to become a habit and it's ingrained. And another I word, ingrained. Yeah.
and
Anyway, yeah,
another
that's
part of it is like we're not judging other people for where they're at. You
no
know, we're not demanding they come with us. It's not, I'm going to drag you on my
journey.
journey and you must do it. They come when they're ready.
Yeah.
um she could get a reading and a clearing too and then kind of see where she's at. And I've had a few people that I've done readings for and they do kind of push back and okay, then it's okay because you're not ready, and that's okay too. So I'll give the homework and the clearings, and I just always say it's up to you whether or not you do it. I present you, like I will lay it all out and you get to see what the new choices are and where they're at, but ultimately it's your decision. And I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't believe so and so didn't, do what I said. It's not that. Like it is, you are still allowed to be the divine creator of your own experience. But as I had to tell my own child, if you want that experience to be different, you have to do something different,
Mm,
So you still get to design and be the creator of your experience. But if
exactly.
you want it to look different, make different choices.
Exactly. I know. She's in victim mode. I can't help that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing what I can do for me. And I had a episode with this woman that's got a great story. Her name is Rihanna Milne. And in that story, she talks about overcoming a big obstacle. She got married in college, a guy she met at Penn State, and he stole $200,000 from her mother.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's some really toxic men out there. And she paid it back. She had to work 5 jobs and she paid it back. But now she has business. She was on the cover of Forbes magazine. I mean, she has a story. And that's the type of stories that we have on this show. And this is a way to overcome obstacles. The action program you have, it is a great thing, for that, right?
Yeah. And it just works really well in these decisions in ways that you want to make a change and to kind of guide yourself through it.
And
Um,
she asked me for a square picture with me and her in it and the name of the podcast, and she's going to put it on her social media. So she really had a great experience. So that shows you that we're doing good.
it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm doing this podcast for a couple of years now, and it's just blew up now, you know? So it works.
It does.
Having a good attitude and taking care of yourself and all those things. Learning how to say no and not feel guilty. So what else can we talk about with the I?
Um,
little-
there's a couple
oh, go ahead.
common pitfalls, I
That's
suppose,
what I was doing. Yeah.
things to watch out for. But
Okay.
I think one of them is, well, there's the two main ones I think are treating it like optional homework. Well, I don't really have to integrate it. I've done the clearing, I've done the, I challenge, I challenge my thinking, I feel good, and sort of saying, okay, uh, yeah, I don't really need to integrate. I don't really need to do the decisions differently and continuously do it. It is going to be like exercise. It's like energy field exercise,
Yeah,
where if the good old thing, like you don't get credit for exercising last year, you got to
exactly.
keep doing it.
I had a woman ask me to sponsor her, which I don't often do, but I said, okay. And after observing her behaviors and everything, I said to her, I think you need to do a 10th step again. And she went ballistic.
Mm.
She goes, I have 30 years of sobriety and I go to meetings all the time and I don't have to do a 10th step. I said, well, I'm your sponsor and I want you to do a 10th step. So if you don't want to do the 10th step, then you're not listening to your sponsor. See the pushback I got. Because the 10th step 10 in Alcoholics Anonymous is about looking at yourself and your patterns and things you may be doing that may be not good for you. And she just would not do that. So
Mm.
I said, okay, I'll be your friend, but I can't be your sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, without the integration, you're definitely, yeah,
yeah.
falling back on the whole
And
patterns. But that's interesting that you were able to see that more.
oh yeah,
Do you think you would have sponsored her a year ago? Or do you think you still would have?
probably. Well, yeah, but I not taking my direction even before I did this, I think I still would have had a problem with that. You know, like I've fired sponsees before because they weren't doing what they were supposed to do.
Mhm.
But she was so angry and she was so upset that I suggested it. It was like, okay, yep, I'm right. You need to do it. And then for a while there, I didn't answer her texts or anything. I just let her have a cooling off period. And I didn't want to deal with explaining over and over why I thought she should do that step. And then she called me and said, do you want to go to dinner? And I went with her. And we didn't talk about that because I'm not her sponsor anymore. I'm her friend.
Nice.
Yeah,
Way to pivot the relationship.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she does crazy things. And I'll say, you know what? That's crazy. But if
But
you're going to do that, do it. But I think it's crazy.
but that's like the perfect example of meeting someone where they're at.
Exactly.
You couldn't be that the sponsor for her. You couldn't be that thing for her at a different level, but you could be there at the friend level.
Yeah. And the thing she was talking about this time was really could be dangerous and everything. And I'm sure her other friends are trying to like talk her out of doing it. And I'm not. I'm just telling her I think it's a crazy thing to do, and I wouldn't do it. And there might be some dangerous things happening. So yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to change her mind. You know what I'm saying? I gave my
Yeah.
opinion, gave her my opinion, but I'm not going to change her mind. So yeah, that's integration.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I think the other thing just to say is that you can't do it all at once. It's going to be one decision, one habit, one
Yes.
aligned choice. And once you get that going, you can do more. So if we try to do all of it too much, then you're going to say, this is too much. I can't, always make the right choice. But don't get stuck in the right and wrong choice. It's not really that. It's more like positive toward your positive, soul, positively toward your soul aligned choices, and then not
Yeah.
aligned to your soul aligned choices.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Gotcha.
most of our choices are not going to be like, oh, wow, that is the end and I'll never have another choice. There's another choice to make.
You never know what's coming around the corner. It's like
Yeah.
like I said, my husband with stage 4 Parkinson's, I know they tell you he could be one way and then the next day he could go and have more symptoms. And so in the last few months, he's has dementia and it's mild. It happens, it's like downing. But I just, when I tell him something and he disagrees with me and it's very obvious that I'm right, I go, okay, honey, we'll talk about it again tomorrow.
Mhm.
I was told to do that. I said, they just, because their mind is not working correctly anymore. They think things that are true. So yeah, it's another thing to adapt to, adaptive integration too.
Yeah.
So yep, life keeps happening. So so I'll do that. Continue doing what I'm doing, and then I'm going to go on to the O.
Mhm.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the O.
Yeah. That's your optimization where you've integrated and now you're kind of steady stating it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if
So
you went
tell
on
me,
some crazy diet and it was, I gotta, well, terrible analogy, but you have to lose a lot of weight all at once. Okay, you lose the weight, great. But how are you maintaining it? And that's when you optimize. So that's that kind of steady stating it. Where is it? Is it here?
yeah,
Is it here?
exactly.
Eventually you get balanced.
Yeah, yeah. I see it. I'll see it coming. I'll go, okay, nope, you're not gonna do that. Even though that's your like gut reaction, your old habits, things like that. And yeah, I like it. I think I'm taking better care of myself for real.
Mhm.
And yeah, I
Yeah.
can't worry about like what other people think, you know. And I just say, hey, you don't live with this man. I live with this man. I have to make the decisions, whether you like him or not, like his family and everything. So my oldest daughter, God bless her, she was worried. She even asked to go to one of my counseling meetings, which cracked me up. My counselor said, okay. And I thought, well, she'll come in and voice her concerns and she'll be there 10 minutes. No, she stayed for the whole hour. And because she was worried about me. And I was really surprised. Like she stepped up. She stepped up, and usually she doesn't. And now my husband is in a rehab for a couple weeks, and when he went to the
Oh, a
hospital,
couple weeks.
oh yeah, at least. And she I had a group. She started the group text, and she said, "You have questions you asked me, and my mother will tell me, and I'll update you." So she took over the group chat.
Oh,
Yeah. So I love her very much for doing that.
that's really, really good.
Yeah, I love her very much for doing that, really.
And sometimes, that's what you need is someone to step up rather than say, what do you need?
Yeah.
Because if you're in that state, you're like, I have no idea what I need. I,
Usually I'm the one that steps up. I'm always like superwoman. Oh, I know how to fix that. I know what you need to do. And now I'm more in my head saying, well, they'll figure it out. And if they ask my advice, that's okay, but I'm not going to give it without being asked. Big change.
so, well,
Yeah.
if we're wrapping up, I would say on your journey to optimization, and it doesn't mean you'll be there the next time we talk, but
Mhm.
really asking yourself the questions. Because, like I said, you're starting to steady state it, right? You're figuring out this integration part, but really asking yourself, okay, if I'm going to kind of analyze this, like what's working best, what works best,
Okay,
and
that's my
what are the things
homework.
that actually drain your energy?
Okay.
And
Okay.
then what is giving you the highest return with the least resistance? What is it that you can just easily step into? Like if you
Oh,
think of the things you were doing, the choices you had to make, when it was time to make good choices or different choices 6 months ago, what now is just like, oh, I can, that's easier. And it sounds like the self-care one is just kind of coming more naturally to you, but there's going
yeah.
to be just things that are starting to come more naturally. And that's where you're getting into your optimize.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Like pay attention to what drains me and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay.
What is still just that energy drain that just, makes your shoulders slump? You're just like,
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Good. Okay. That's my homework. I'll work on that. Well, thank you, Erin. We I think did a very informative and but concise explanation of this. And I look forward to our next one. Oh, our next one, you and I,
yes.
we started I don't know what to call it, like a side uh, show. A side show. Anyway, we're talking about how to publish your own book, self-publishing. And we
Yes.
did the first episode, and we're going to be doing chapter 2. So that's where we're at. And that'll be coming up. Right. It's
Yeah.
exciting. So that's something different too. Me doing the show with you as a co-host, that's very different. And we're doing a different topic
Yeah.
than the spiritual guides and all that with Akashic records. We're doing about, because we both are writers. I have 4 books published, and you are writing a book.
Mhm.
So it's going to help us too. So we're going through this happens. I'm so sorry. I thought I turned this phone off, but it just
Oh.
keeps not going to be a good podcast. No, it is. That's what happens. You got to accept the unacceptable, right?
Yeah.
All right, kids, this was good. And we're going to have to do this again soon, and we will. I'm on all the time. I'm on every channel, and a lot of the episodes will have my co-host, Erin. So thank you for listening. And Erin, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. And I'm very proud of you and how you are working through this.
Oh, that touches me. Yeah, I didn't
You're
get that.
doing it. You're doing the work, as they
I
say.
didn't
You're
get that
doing it.
as a kid, so now it's like, ooh. All right, everybody, have a great October. It's October.
Indeed.
I know.